We've got some fresh images of 3IATLAS, a third ever interstellar object observed from Earth, currently racing through our solar system. Now, astronomers have captured that moment live, streaming in real time.
We now have fresh, breathtaking images of 3IATLAS, the third interstellar visitor ever seen from Earth, a wanderer tearing across our solar system at impossible speed. Astronomers didn't just capture it, they streamed its passage live, letting us watch history unfold in real time. But that moment of wonder twisted into dread almost instantly. At NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, data streams from the Deep Space Network spiked into chaos, then went dead silent. Panic spread like wildfire. Something violent had ambushed 3IATLAS. What was once a cosmic jewel, admired for its beauty and mystery, was struck down by an unknown force so sudden, so deliberate, that it shattered the confidence of the scientific world. NASA convened an emergency meeting because in that instant, humanity's illusion of safety in the cosmos was torn apart. A shattered visitor now drifts where a comet once glowed. The first telemetry was nearly impossible to believe. An instantaneous energy surge like a cosmic weapon's blast, followed by a rapid, unnatural deceleration. And then, within moments, its magnificent green-blue tail, stretching across hundreds of thousands of miles, was ripped apart, scattered into a storm of debris. This was no slow erosion by solar winds, no graceful breakup by tidal forces. This was an attack, a sudden destructive intervention from something we do not yet understand. Even more terrifying, every probe observing 3IATLAS went dark in the blink of an eye. One moment, flawless streams of pristine data. The next, nothing but static. What happened to 3IATLAS defied every known law of astronomy. For centuries, humanity has cataloged the heavens. Asteroids, comets, icy wanderers, rocky fragments, mapping their orbits, predicting their fates, and understanding the physics that govern their paths. Yet this was different. The ambush of 3IATLAS felt less like random chance and more like an unseen hand crushing a fragile moth in the silence of space. The scale of energy unleashed was staggering. Thousands of megatons of TNT in a single instant. Yet no warnings appeared. No solar flares, no gamma bursts, no nearby black holes. Nothing in any predictive model could explain the sudden strike. The data was clear. There were impact signatures. But from what? Space is vast, stretching across light years of emptiness, making a direct encounter of this kind statistically impossible. And yet, 3IATLAS was no pebble adrift. Hurtling at nearly 100,000 miles per hour, this object was immense. Half a mile of primordial ice and stone, forged in some forgotten stellar nursery. For something of that size to be torn apart so violently, the attacker had to be colossal in scale, or wield an energy source far beyond anything we can comprehend. The attack came without warning, swift, merciless, and unstoppable. There was no time for evasion, no chance for 3IATLAS to deflect its path. In the vast, silent theater of the cosmos, it was a perfect ambush. A brutal demonstration of power executed with chilling precision. When the first images were processed, filtered through the storm of debris, they revealed a sight that left scientists stunned. The comet was not merely fractured, it was torn apart, as if ripped limb from limb. Its once solid nucleus had become a graveyard of spiraling fragments, drifting outward in chaotic spirals, encased in billions of glittering ice shards catching the faint sunlight. It resembled a cosmic explosion, but the absence of radiation signatures proved it wasn't an internal detonation. No. This wasn't self-destruction. It felt deliberate, almost targeted. The speed and violence of the disintegration left little doubt. This was the work of an external force, a sudden, devastating strike. The question was never if something had hit it, but what and how. This wasn't the gentle abrasion of space dust or the slow erosion of solar winds. This was a surgical assault, and its invisible assailant remains a mystery that demands answers. For scientists, the frustration cuts deep. Interstellar visitors like 3IATLAS are priceless, cosmic time capsules carrying whispers of alien star systems. Every fragment, every molecule holds secrets of worlds beyond our own. Its destruction robbed us of one of the rarest opportunities in astronomy. Consider its predecessors, the enigmatic Oumuamua, a cigar-shaped anomaly that sparked wild theories after showing no cometary activity, and Borisov, a more familiar icy traveler that confirmed some expectations. Each offered a window into the unknown. 3IATLAS was a textbook comet, until suddenly it wasn't. Its icy jets and radiant green-blue tail behaved exactly as the models predicted, right up until the moment everything changed. And what makes this event so terrifying is not just the destruction itself, but the absence of any explanation. Normally, when a comet or asteroid breaks apart, we know why. A brush too close to the sun, tidal stresses from Jupiter, the pull of Saturn's gravity. These are predictable dangers. But when 3I/ATLAS was struck, it was nowhere near such forces. It was gliding alone through the outskirts of the solar system, nearly 400 million miles from Earth, far beyond Mars's orbit. At that distance, solar radiation couldn't have caused a sudden cataclysm. There were no massive planets nearby to tear it apart. It was a solitary traveler, untouched by the usual killers of comets, until something ended it violently. And then there's the most chilling fact of all, the absence of a detectable impactor. Our orbital telescopes and deep space radar are so sensitive they can track objects as small as a softball in Earth's orbit, and much larger ones at far greater distances. For something to collide with 3I/ATLAS, unleash such devastation, and then vanish without leaving a trace, that implies one of two possibilities. Either we are facing technology far beyond anything humanity has ever imagined, or a natural phenomenon so exotic it defies the very laws of physics as we understand them. Even more unsettling, neither Hubble nor the James Webb, machines powerful enough to peer back to the dawn of time, saw anything approaching 3I/ATLAS in the seconds before the strike. It was simply there, and then it was gone. A cosmic visitor erased in an instant. Of course, many leap straight to theories of alien spacecraft, while the scientific mind resists, clinging to natural explanations. Yet the destruction of 3I/ATLAS stretches those explanations to breaking. The data shows something far too precise, too focused, too deliberate, an energy release more like a scalpel than a random bullet from the void. This wasn't the scatter of a diffuse particle cloud. It was a concentrated strike, a single devastating event. And what's even stranger, there were no gravitational ripples, no electromagnetic echoes, nothing lingering in its wake. It was as though the assailant appeared, struck with impossible precision, and then simply vanished back into the dark. That chilling absence forces us to ask the question no one wants to face. What if the universe is not empty? What if it is not predictable? We invest billions into planetary defense, building systems to track asteroids and comets that threaten Earth. But 3I/ATLAS was not a near-Earth object. It was an interstellar traveler, born of another star system, destroyed in the far reaches of our own. Our radars saw nothing. Our telescopes found nothing. And yet it was obliterated in front of us. And that is the true horror. Our entire planetary defense rests on the belief that threats can be tracked, monitored, intercepted. But this event suggests the existence of dangers that cannot even be perceived until after they strike. A class of cosmic threats beyond our comprehension. Invisible until it's already too late. The terrifying question now looms: how do we defend against an invisible, undetectable force? A storm that gathers in silence until it strikes. The NASA emergency meeting was less a council of reason and more a collision of fear and desperation. Director Thorne, a woman renowned for her composure even in crisis, paced the room with a tension that unsettled everyone. Her voice, usually steady as stone, cracked with strain as the data screens glared red with warnings. Not warnings of a direct threat to Earth, but of a new reality, one where the cosmos itself had stripped us of any illusion of safety. We are not prepared. The words fell from her lips like a verdict. The room absorbed them in silence, because no one dared argue. The greatest minds in astrophysics, planetary defense, and theoretical physics sat together, yet none had an answer. The problem wasn't only that 3I/ATLAS was destroyed, it was how. By something unseen, something beyond detection, beyond comprehension. How can you prepare for an enemy that leaves no shadow, no trace? The meeting, usually filled with lively debate and sharp arguments, was heavy with silence. Proposals surfaced and collapsed under their own futility. Launch a probe to the debris field? By the time it arrived, months, maybe years later, the fragments would be scattered, the evidence gone cold. Analyze old telescope data for a fleeting anomaly? Perhaps, but that was like searching for a single spark in an endless night sky. What chilled the room most was the realization of our blind spots. Despite fleets of advanced telescopes, from orbiting eyes like Chandra and XMM Newton to Earth's massive ground-based observatories, we had seen nothing. Our instruments are designed to seek familiar patterns, flashes of light, gravitational lensing, thermal signatures, the fingerprints of known cosmic forces. Yet, the ambush of 3I/ATLAS left none of these. No radiation, no distortion, no trace. It was a ghost in the cosmic machine, an event that mocked everything we thought we understood. What many forget is that our observational technology, for all its brilliance, is shackled to human knowledge. It sees only what our physics allows. But if a phenomenon exists outside that framework, it is invisible to us, slipping through our gaze like a shadow in plain sight. That is perhaps the most terrifying realization of all. Because every dollar, every telescope, every mission we've devoted to planetary defense has been built on the assumption that threats are natural. Asteroids, comets, solar flares, dangers we can model, dangers we can predict, dangers we believe we might one day deflect. But what if the threat isn't natural at all? Or worse, what if it's something natural, but beyond recognition? How do you stop what you cannot detect? How do you defend a world against an enemy that hides between the very cracks of reality? The destruction of 3IATLAS forced a paradigm shift no one was ready for. Space, once imagined as an orderly expanse ruled by dependable laws, now revealed itself as unpredictable, perhaps even hostile. The NASA meeting was not a strategy session. It was an admission of helplessness. The brightest minds in astrophysics and engineering, usually armed with equations and confidence, were staring into a void of ignorance. And when Director Thorne's words echoed again, "We are not prepared," they were not a lament. They were a verdict, a warning, a call to rethink humanity's place in a universe that suddenly feels far less welcoming. The destruction of 3IATLAS raised a terrifying possibility. If it could be struck down without warning, then so could Earth. This single event shattered the illusion of cosmic safety and forced humanity to rethink everything we thought we knew about our celestial neighborhood. Interstellar objects themselves are almost mythic in their rarity. Only a handful have ever been confirmed. They are born in the chaos of distant star systems, flung into the void by gravitational slingshots or stellar collisions, wandering endlessly between suns. These are the true nomads of the universe, ancient messengers carrying secrets from other worlds. And yet, here in our solar system, one of these messengers was annihilated, not by the sun's pull, not by the crushing gravity of a planet, but by something unseen. That single act introduces an entirely new and terrifying category of cosmic threat. Of course, speculation runs wild. Advanced civilizations, hidden technologies. But while many are eager to cry aliens, the scientific community claws desperately at natural explanations, no matter how improbable. Could it have been a dark matter event? An invisible tide of exotic particles colliding in ways we cannot yet fathom? A micro-black hole, perhaps, so small it could pass through a comet like a bullet through glass, continuing on its way, leaving behind no trace but devastation? The truth is, the universe is still filled with mysteries we are only beginning to glimpse. Our theories are infants, stumbling in the dark. And yet, none of the natural explanations fit. The sheer suddenness, the immense energy, the absence of residual evidence, every box remains unchecked. What few realize is that our solar system, while appearing vast and empty, is in fact a cosmic shooting gallery. Dust, rocks, comets, asteroids, all constantly colliding, reshaping worlds. Yes, we have mapped tens of thousands of near-Earth asteroids and comets. Our planetary defense systems are built on those familiar threats. But 3IATLAS was different. Objects like it are not from our stellar neighborhood. They are born in alien environments, forged in star systems we've never seen, carrying properties we cannot predict. They may interact with unseen elements of space in ways our physics has never modeled. What many forget is that all of our knowledge is local. Everything we know of comets, asteroids, and planetary bodies comes from our own solar backyard. The gulfs between the stars, the true interstellar void, are still unexplored oceans. And now, with this one catastrophic ambush, we are forced to ask, what really waits in that darkness? The implications stretch far beyond astronomy. Humanity dreams of Mars, just a few 100 million miles away, but already that journey strains our technology to its limit. Now, imagine venturing billions of miles into another star system, carrying colonies or habitats. If unseen predators lurk in the void, forces capable of erasing a half-mile comet in seconds, what chance would a fragile spacecraft stand? This was not just an astronomical oddity. It was a direct challenge to the very idea of exploration, to our belief that we can one day stride confidently into the stars. And here lies the cruelest irony. Humanity has built machines that can peer across billions of light years, pulling images from the dawn of creation with the James Webb Telescope. We can scan distant exoplanets for signs of life. We can fling probes like Voyager to the very edges of the solar system after decades of travel. Yet, when a half-mile wide comet, a world killer by any measure, was obliterated right here in our cosmic backyard, we never saw the threat. Not before, not during, not even after. To put it bluntly, our entire planetary defense rests on a single assumption: that the threats we face will reveal themselves. We track what reflects light, what emits heat, what bends gravity in ways we can measure. But the ambush of 3I-ATLAS shattered that illusion. This enemy was silent, invisible, a strike from the dark that slipped past every defense we thought we had. The truth nobody tells you is that humanity is blind to anything that doesn't play by our rules of detection. We stare at the cosmic doorways, but what if the real dangers don't use the door at all? What if they move through the walls, passing unseen until it's too late? The message is clear. We need new eyes, systems that can sense the faintest ripples of exotic particles, that can detect subtle gravitational whispers, that can map the unseen currents of the universe itself. Without them, we are defenseless. The destruction of 3I-ATLAS leaves us with questions that cut to the bone. Is our cosmic neighborhood far more dangerous than we ever dared imagine? And the most haunting thought of all, whatever struck 3I-ATLAS, is it still out there, waiting? If you want to uncover more of these terrifying mysteries with me, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one.